Hey guys, what's going on? Today I am going to teach you everything you need to know to start camping and have fun. Alright, camping is one of my favorite things to do, to get out into the wild and to just enjoy. It's kind of the true form of human nature, and it's just something that I've loved for, camping is one of those things that you do through testing, but you still need some prior knowledge on how to actually do it. So today I'm going to kind of show you how to camp, because you do need a couple things just to get you out into the field and make a memorable experience, something that'll actually go well. So today I'm going to give you the complete list from basic to kind of what you don't really need on just how to start camping. So today I'm going to give you the full and complete list on what you need, just the very basics, what you need to start camping and do it successfully. So, thank you. The first thing that you're going to need is a tent. And now, you don't need a tent that's expensive, but I do recommend a tent that you're going to need is a tent. Now, I'm going to recommend you don't buy something super expensive, because as a beginner, there's going to be things that are going to happen to it. There's going to be little scuffs and stuff, and I'd wait until you're more advanced, like any sport or any sort of activity. Just get a respectable tent that's not going to break the bank. You don't need this extreme expensive gear, because a tent is just kind of a piece of canvas that keeps you dry and warm. So just look around. This is a Marmot Catalyst 2-person, and I have been camping for a while, and personally, if you get something too cheap, it's not going to do you so well. Wow, a red hawk just flew up there. If you get oh, there it goes. Alright, before I was interrupted so beautifully by that red hawk, I was describing what tent you should get. So there's a lot of good tents, but you don't necessarily need the brand names, but something from Marmot or something from Mountain Hardwear, something from Osprey would be nice. The most important thing you need to do is look at the reviews, because tents can sometimes leak or have these strange one-off things, but they can also have like a common problem. So just be wary on what you're looking for. If you want to have... Alright, so this is going to be a very good demonstration of how to set up in the worst quality and the worst type of day, because we just had a lot of melt off and the ground's very wet, that it's still quite frozen. So this is going to be interesting. Starting off, we're in a good area. Look for a flat ground. The most important thing you can do is actually to put your sleeping mat, or just to lie on the ground and not look for lumps, and look for anything surrounding, like dead trees that could fall, or obstructions, or anything in your surroundings that could be dangerous. Make sure your ground's not lumpy. I'm not going to lie on the ground because it's wet and very muddy, but I am going to set up my tent. So this sack here is called a stuff sack, and it fits everything you need, and I'm going to break that down a little once we get into it. I am not going to cut out anything. I'm just going to speed it up so you can see the whole process. This brightly colored thing and you won't have the same colors for your tent, possibly. This is a rain fly, and it goes on the exterior of the tent, and it provides protection and seal from the rain when there is rain. Now, I have a tent, like the actual base tent for me, is clear, so I know what's the difference between the tent and the rain fly is, but you may not. Usually they have this net that acts as a window, and you'll know the tent between that. You can also feel the rain fly, and it has this smooth inside of like a winter coat feeling, and then you'll know that's the rain fly. Here, reaching even lower into this bag that I was talking about, and this is the actual tent. So that's all and this is the stuff sack. Make sure that you keep this somewhere nice and dry. Make sure you keep all your stuff nice and dry, but it's not as important because it's the outside. Bag is my stakes, and this is the important part. You got all your tent stuff out, but these stakes, they might be different for you. What I recommend is, because my tent might be completely different than yours, is usually inside the bag they have instructions, or search up your tent's name on online. So my stakes, so this goes inside the tent and keeps the rain fly. These gray stakes, they keep the rain fly off the actual tent. And these are the frame of the tent. So if you look at the framing of a house, oh no. Got our tent set up. I'm going to be telling you the basic things that you actually need to camp. So you need shelter, whether that's a tent, a little lean-to you build, a car, something like that. A house is shelter if you think about it, but you're going to need something like that. You're also going to need food, whether you hunt, whether you fish, whether you bring that food, that's the most common one, or any other way, but you're going to need enough food to sustain you. And I'm going to break this into 3 different categories. You're going to need snacks for when you're on the trail or just when you're feeling hungry in between meals. You're going to need a dinner, and most of the time I'm going to say the snacks are going to be a lunch, because you're going to be moving on a trail or doing something throughout the day. Then you're going to need dinner foods, which are larger, more protein-based foods. And then you're going to need breakfast, which is more carb-based, like breads and stuff, compared to dinner, which is like steaks and meats and other things, because the carbohydrates will give you energy for a walk through the day. If you're being backpacking, it'll just give you a boost in the morning if not. You're also going to need water, and I'm going to subdivide this into 2 things. Whether you are using a filter or you're bringing water, depending how long you're camping, it kind of depends. Because if you're camping for a day and you bring 4 liters of water, that's completely fine. But if there's a river or a stream or something that you know isn't salt water, because unless you have reverse osmosis or something like that, it's not going to work so well because it's salt water and it's really hard to filter that. Then you can have good filters. I have a Sawyer Squeeze filter, and I've never actually used that in a video, but it's a very good filter to just filter out water. I recommend that, but there's also LifeStraw. The only thing I have to say about life straws, make sure you use them. Don't keep them stored because they do get clogged really easily. The next thing I want to talk about is fire. For fire, you can either bring a flint striker, which is something that has a flint and a steel and you strike the rod. What I usually commonly bring for fires is a lighter. I have one here. So this is the longer form of a lighter. It has this trigger, which you press down, and that, I don't know that the action, which you press down, and then that kind of puts the fuel into the chamber, and then you actually press in on this thing while pressing in on that, and that ignites that. But that is the lighter, and that lights the fire for me. You're also going to need tinder, which actually sparks the fire, which I'm going to talk about later. And then you're going to need kindling and fuel. For fires, I'd also like to subjugate that into cooking. Which cooking, whether you're using a cooking set, which is something that uses propane or white gas or just fuel or anything that has an igniter. The next thing that I'm going to show you is the tools. Now, there's a couple tools that you're going to want, and then there's one tool that you're going to need, and that's something sharp. Whether that's a knife or a hatchet, you're going to find it useful in a lot of different ways. Now, this hatchet has actually been in a lot of my videos. And I've used it in so many different ways, but the main way you're going to use it is chopping wood. And it's really important because you can change fuel, which is bigger pieces, into kindling or even tinder. Helpful is a multi-tool, and I don't have it. This is a multi-tool right in my hand. And this multi-tool is really helpful because it has a lot of different tools that you could need for different things, like can openers, opening things, a screwdriver for unscrewing things. The next thing you're going to need is a change of only the essential clothes, like underpants. Maybe a change of pants. But if you're camping or like in a backpacking situation, then you're going to need just warm and cold clothes. So clothes like a jacket and pants, and then clothes, for instance, like shorts and stuff. Even if it's winter, for like sleeping if you get hot. You must be doing something right if you get hot, but just something like that. Alright, so just a change of clothes. Use common sense for that. Don't need to go into it deep. This coat's kind of warm. Kinda. And then you're gonna need stuff like your phone. I have a GoPro to record, but my phone's not on me. Just that's in case for entertainment when you're in the tent. If you don't have a book, you can read on it. I can't stay up like this. In case you need to, like, in case you want to watch like a movie or something, or do something like that, or more importantly, contacting emergency services in case you get hurt. I forgot to add, the next thing that you really need for your tent is a sleeping bag that's warm enough. And what's important about that is your sleeping bag, the warmth of it is how warm it's going to keep you. Now, in the description of sleeping bags, they have a comfort temperature. Now, on that comfort temperature, the people that are in that and that are testing it sleep warm, and their tent's warm, and they have a warm mat. So expect your comfort level to be 10 degrees lower than you expected. So if it's a 40-degree sleeping bag, expect its comfort to be around 50 degrees. Okay, so the next thing that you're gonna need is a sleeping mat. And those are even more important then those are debatably as important as the sleeping bag, because it keeps you off the ground. And as you can feel, the ground is quite cold, and it'll actually suck the heat out of you like a stone. Have you ever put a steak on a counter to defrost, or any meat defrost? It's almost exactly like that. It'll suck the heat out of you, the ground will. So I'm now in my tent, and I actually left my sleeping mat at some other place. So I only have my sleeping bag. The sleeping mat setup is really simple. It's just a tube, basically just a mat, and then you open it, and it either self-inflates or you have to blow into it. Follow the instructions on yours, but yeah, it's a bummer. So I'm gonna set this up. Oh, Eli, hi. Don't step on the camera. You just got my tent wet. To quickly and easily start a fire. So I'm going to quickly explain this because it's not too complicated, but helicopter. There's 3 different types of wood and stuff, and starters. So there's kindling. So this is, or no, sorry. There's tinder, and this is the stuff that actually, when you light it, it instantly lights. Like, you can't light this wood with a lighter, but this, a spark, a flame, a lighter, anything will start it. Then I'm gonna chop this up, and this maple board here is kindling, which the tinder ignites, and it just grows from there. And this is fuel. And this is what the logs and what you think. This is what starts it. So I'm gonna chop up my wood, and there's gonna be a little more that I'm gonna chop up here. That's what I'm gonna do. So once you cut up your tinder and all of this stuff, you're gonna actually light the fire, and you're gonna make this Lincoln Lodge sort of structure with your actual tinder and then your kindling around it. So I'm gonna ignite this. All right, I'm gonna sit through this fire for a little bit. This is cool. All right, now is a good time, I think, to talk about. Now is a good time, I think, to talk about water. Water is so important. You need it more than food. This cup is exactly 8 ounces. So I am going to be. You're going to need about 4 of these to drink at least a day. 24 ounces is the bare minimum. So yeah, either bring water or hydrate through a stream with a filter, but that's another basic you need for camping. I hope you learned a good amount from this basic guide, but again, these tools are another thing that you need just to start camping. Just something sharp and maybe a saw to cut down some limbs, but again, either a hatchet or a knife. Okay, thank you so much for watching. This was a very basic and streamlined, guide. There was a couple things that are a little controversial that I didn't mention, like bear spray, because some people believe it's kind of over harsh. I personally am a big advocate for it, but a couple things that you don't necessarily need, but that one is a definite safety provider. But this video then there were other things like a fishing rod and a patch kit. But these are just the things you need to just get out and just do it. I hope this guide helped for any of you newbies, and I hope that you enjoyed it. And if anything I left out or anything you'd like to change, just write in the comments. I'll be looking. And thank you so much for watching this video. I'm a new project channel. I have a lot of videos on my channel. If you'd like to check them out, I'd love that. Thank you for watching. All right, see you guys soon. I got a lot of things coming up.